In this video, we are going to cover about protocols and standards that are used in computer networks. So let us go to the concept of protocols. Protocol. Actually, we try to discuss about the human communication. So for example, let A and B want to have a communication. So here A make a hi and B acknowledge hi. So to initialize or to establish a communication between two end systems, we need to have a request reply mechanism. So when the reply is given for the request what is obtained, then automatically the connection is established. And once the connection is established, then the communication of message starts. And this message communication or exchange of message or exchange of information gets prolonged as long as the medium is available. And upon termination request, the session can be terminated. So there is a procedure, that is protocol is nothing but, as we said in the earlier sessions, protocol means set of rules or some kind of format that we have to follow, some kind of procedure that you have to follow in doing things. So this is the human analogy what we have with respect to computer networks. Similarly, coming to the computer networks, when two end system, whatever be the end system, when two end system want to have a communication to be established, they need to be a request. Let us not bother about this TCP now. So it is a connection request has to be made from one end system and to the another end system. And upon receiving the connection request, the other end system has to give connection reply. So when a request reply handshaking is completed, then the actual data transmission will start between the two end system, and that will get prolonged. And upon termination request, connection termination request, connection termination reply will come, and this connection will be terminated. Okay, so now protocol. So the end systems, packet switches, other pieces of internet that runs protocol. Why do we they run the protocol or set of rules? To have sending and receiving in a controlled way. So it basically provides a control for sending and receiving the information within the internet. In internet, two protocols are getting used. One is called Transmission Control Protocol, shortly called as TCP, while Internet Protocol, IP. They are the two main important protocols that are used in internet to control sending and receiving of information. So out of this IP protocol provides the format of the packet that are sent and received among the routers and end system. So that's we could say that the internet protocols works, the principle on which they work is TCP/IP. So when we discuss about OSI layering architecture, we will also discuss about TCP/IP layer architecture in detail. So now protocols, when you call it as network protocol, as we saw in the previous slides, how a human protocol, that is a request reply, comes. Similar to that, in case of internet also, end devices has the request reply mechanism. So all activities in the internet are involving two or more communicating remote entities. They need to be governed by the protocols. So protocols, when you try to implement on the hardware, they actually provide you, that is hardware implemented protocols into physically connected computer will basically control the flow of bits on the wire. So the wire is nothing but the link. The data communication that is happening between two end systems are basically controlled by the protocol. Okay, so then you have a congestion control protocol. So this congestion control protocol are basically used in the end system to control the rate at which the packet has to be transmitted between the sender and receiver. So congestion is nothing but when I can give you an analogy that in a transportation system, We use traffic signals, we use traffic police. Both of them are employed basically to avoid congestion. So that is, what do they do really? They regulate the traffic. So if the traffic is not regulated, so there is no traffic signal. What really happened? The time the traffic has to be moved from one direction to another direction is not mentioned. Any angle the traffic starts coming, the vehicles start coming, and finally you have a traffic jam. Similar to that, in the networking also, you have n number of end devices ejecting or generating n number of traffics. If these traffics are not regulated, then it lead to traffic congestion. So traffic congestion protocol, I can say congestion control protocol, their main aim is to control the rate at which the packets have to be transmitted between the sender and receiver. Similarly, the protocols that run in the router, they determine the path that has to be taken by the packets that are given by the sender or the source to reach the destination. So protocols and routers will determine the packet's path from the source and the destination. So you have seen three types of protocols here: hardware implemented protocol, congestion control protocol, and protocols in routers. Similar to that, in a computer network, we just take a small scenario. When you want to make a request to, what will really happen when a request is made to the web server? What do we really do? We type the URL of the web page into the web browser, and the computer will send this connection request message to the web server, and it waits for the reply. So the web server will eventually will receive the connection request message and return a connection reply message. And then the computer will send the name of the web page it want to fetch, from which the web servers is getting in a get message. So finally, the web server will return the web page. So this is the normal scenario we are basically using whenever we Google something. But when we Google something or when we use a web browser for getting some information, this is what really happened. So the information what we need is available in some server, and the request what we are making through our web page in the web browser, this is the backend connection that is happening to get the data. Okay. So next we move on to the definition. So the ultimate definition of protocol. So there are different versions of definition available in different textbooks as far as computer network is concerned. So we just take up few things into consideration here. So a protocol defines the format and order of message exchanged between two or more communicating entities, as well as the action taken on the transmission and or receipt of a message or event. So this protocol, some version says it is synonymous with rule. It consists of a set of rules that govern data communication. It determines what is communicated, how it is communicated, when it is communicated. So to realize this protocol, we actually have three key elements. They are called syntax, semantics, and timing. As we see here, protocol takes care of what is communicated, how it is communicated, when it is communicated. So the syntax is nothing but it provides you the format of the data. What is the structure the data has to be formed or it has to be followed. It also indicates how to read the bits. And the semantic, it's basically rule. So it is trying to give you the interpretation. It interprets the meaning of the bits. And it knows which field define what action. And the timing is the third element. It provides you what data should be sent and what speed at which it should be spent, etc. Okay. So these are some of the key elements that are very essential to formulate the protocol. And next we have standards. So standards are nothing but there are some bodies which takes care of providing some kind of uniformity for things. IET, that is Internet Engineering Task Force, is a standard which basically develops the things that internet has to do. So this IT standard, they have a set of documents which are called as RFCs, that is request for comments. So this request for comments, from the name, we know that it resolves the network and protocol design problems that are faced in the internet. And there are some defined protocols. We have TCP/HP, that is HTTP for web, and SMTP for emails. And this RFC, I think the numbers may be not actual here, it is more a number. And coming to like how the way the internet has to work, you have the IETF standards. Similarly, in the internet, to realize the mechanism of internet, we have seen that there is so many network components. Like you have your Wi-Fi router, you have your somewhere you have your uh, Ethernet routers, etc. So they need to, these network component also has to be standardized, and there are some standardizing body like IEEE. So IEEE is standardizing body that will take care of bottom layer, that is physical layer and data link layer of any technology. So 802 will take care of LAN technology, and 802.11 will take care of wireless LAN technology, which we call shortly called as Wi-Fi. And there are so many other standards, and when we discuss about the advancements in computer networks, we'll be discussing more on the standards. So to summarize, we have seen that in this, we have covered what is protocol, how a protocol relates to human analogy we have seen, and what are the various functions of a protocol, and what are the types of protocols. And in the next video, that is, we move on with the next module, where we'll be discussing about network edges, right? So thanks for watching. Stay tuned.